Good evening, student. If you are listening to this will be a recording, and you are more than welcome to go through the material that we have uploaded, and feel free to send me any questions that you have. I do understand that the platform that we have, that for some of you, um, it might be difficult to make it for the live sessions, um, but that should not be a problem. And should you be able to make it for the live sessions, I'm giving you an encouragement to do so that we can have discussions. Um, the format itself of the modules um, requires that you go through extensive readings and that you may be really at the wheel, driving yourself through these studies. And as an instructor of this module, I will always be available to assist you. Um, the material that is VC Learn is quite easy and quite extensive. And not only that, the textbook itself is quite well written, where you have multiple examples and exercises, and as well as a test bank where there is quite a lot to make you able to succeed in this module. Also, just to remember that you are doing a BCom entrepreneurship, which again, once more, welcome to the BCom entrepreneurship, and especially to this particular module. The welcoming should be for the second year, because you are a second year student, and the module in itself will be really a practical module, allowing you to um, to be more practical in your journey as an entrepreneur. So that was quite important for me to say, is that uh, the focus of the module for you, uh, as opposed to other BComs, is due to the fact that you are an entrepreneur, and as an entrepreneur you need practical knowledge to be able to succeed out there in the real business world. So that was just a warm welcome to all of you. So if you're listening to this recording, welcome to you. Welcome to the second year. Welcome to this particular module, which is financial management for entrepreneurs. I am your instructor, Patrick, and just to say a bit about myself is that uh, uh, I was also quite privileged to also do some entrepreneurship, and I have quite a liking for project management as such. I've done my business studies, and uh, in 2010, I was also a student, just like you at VC. From there, I went on to to the Cape Peninsula University, as well as the University of the Western Cape, where I graduated in financial studies, and then went on to do my master's degree with the University of South Wales. And I am actually at this moment in a doctoral program. But once more, uh, this should not seem that I am wiser or uh, uh, knowing everything. It's really more about uh, helping one another. So it's feel free to ask all the questions, and feel free to engage in discussions, as much as you can. I firmly encourage that, and you should not have the view as if you are talking to somebody who knows everything. And as you will see as we go through this module and what it's all about, you will realize that there is quite something very unique when it comes to the financial world, is that you would study so much but only to learn so little. So it's quite different. And I used to have a professor who used to tell us that in other courses you study some principles, you study little to know so much. But when it comes to the financial world, it's quite the opposite. You study quite a lot, but only to know very little. So I hope that that will break the ice and allow us to do more collaboration this year. So let me step in quickly into the importance of the course material. As I mentioned already, is that it is quite important that you have access to the textbook and that you go through the textbook. And it is important that you be at the helm of your own studies. You need to have to be quite proactive and take an active place into your learning, and you have all the help required for you to do very well. And this is the best format for you to succeed, because most of the time a lecturer will be more theoretical in his approach, but as for your instructor or your tutor, we will more focus on what is the practical side for you to pass your assessment, your formative assessment as well as your summative assessment. So that's quite important. And so the as you know, you if you do not yet have access to all the material, or if you are having any issue whatsoever, please reach out to me to let me know, so that I may be able to assist you. Not only that I am an instructor, but I am as well a staff member of VC, and so that can be quite easy for me to try to see how I can help further. So I trust that also clear. Another point would be for OneNote. Um, some of you have already reached out to me about OneNote, and OneNote is, if I can say, it's not an external tool to our studies, is actually an internal tool. So if you go to your VC Learn, you'll be able to, as per the communication, as per the notification I sent out to all of you, you'll be able to see quite clearly how to access OneNote. And for those who might struggle on VC Learn, no problem. Just email me. I will send you an invite, and so you will have access to OneNote. And so I'm going to touch on OneNote quickly for those of you who might not know what it's all about. And just a second for me to share my screen. So I'm just going to open OneNote here. And so this is pretty much how it looks when you have a OneNote. Basically, this will allow us to have much more interaction between us. As you can see down below here, you will see that all your names have been added to this OneNote. I think at the exception of only one person, whom I do not yet have, you know, I do not see any access, but I shall provide access to the person when the time comes. But you will basically have a space. All of you will have uh, uh, a space that you will call your own space. And for instance, Rabia here will have her own space where, uh, okay, so there we go. So this will be basically the class note, whatever I'm releasing out, whatever I'm sending out, you should be able to have access to it. So it seems like it's restarting, but it's not an issue. And so everybody will have, what you will be able to see will be basically this. You have your homework, you have your class notes, you have your quizzes, and your handouts. So it does not need to be this way. You you can rename it. You can rename each section. But what is quite important, it does give you quite a lot of flexibility. What is just important for you to remember is that with this, if since we are working on we're working on exercises, we're working on uh, uh, a test. We don't have tests. We have an assignment, but we have a test bank. So we have quite a lot of practical examples and exercises that we can work on. So this will be useful to you if you are working on something. You could attach what you are working on here. You could insert it as a file, as a PDF, every format that you can think of. Even just taking a picture from your phone, you are able to add anything. For example, let me see if I can find a good example for you. If I would like maybe to insert a picture from a camera, you will be able to insert. Let's say maybe a picture from a file, you will be able to insert. So this will allow you as well to maybe take a note or an exercise that you've been working on and that you are needing maybe my assistance, or you are stuck somewhere as you going through the particular example or exercise. You might be able to refer me to the particular item, and I can come and put maybe um, my feedback to your work. So whatever work you are doing, I will be able to come and put my feedback in it. And so you will be able to see it. You should be able to see it instantaneously. So I trust that that is quite clear. I will be releasing notes. For instance, in our library, you will see that, for instance, for the module content, I can grab a screenshot like here. This is actually touching assignment 1 and assignment 2. As you all know, assignment 1 is due next month, and so you should be prepared, and it's covering learning unit 1 and learning unit 2. My desire is that you may already go through the reading of learning unit 1 and browse through learning unit 2 and start already attempting some of the questions of your assignment. So I am aware that maybe those dates that were provided will be there will be a postponement. So they will the the due date might be postponed due to the many issues we've had with registration, but that should not stop you from starting already. So if there will be a postponement, that will be much more time for you. But within this time, if you take proper attention to learning unit 1 and learning unit 2 this week, especially this weekend, for those of you who have not started reading anything, please go through learning unit 1 and learning unit 2 of your textbook. Just browse, and any section that you are not understanding, please make highlight of it. Reach out to me. You see fit PDFs for you to share, any document, printouts, pictures, it doesn't matter. Anything you will be able to share. So please just try to use, it's just like any normal office app, uh, like Word, um, uh, um, Excel, all the office app that you know. It's just another office app. It's the same thing, the same as you, if you look at your the tabs on Word, you have home, you have insert, you have draw. It is also the same thing as you, the same thing. So one more time, for assignment one and assignment two, you have learning unit 1 to 3. It will cover learning unit 1 to 3, and look at the weighting, it's 25%. So for assignment one, and you have assignment two, which is covering learning unit 1 to 5. You only have 7 units. After your assignment two, only two units will be remaining, and we'll be preparing for the examination. So please do strategize. So I see that these learning unit 1 to 3 should come very easy for you, and you should start already attempting your assignment. Um, and I will cover quite some content. I will be also uploading some content for you, whatever I feel that is important to assist you. But what is very important for you to do is to go through the exercises. This this module is different from other modules because it's a numeracy slash theory module. So there is quite a lot of examples, quite a lot of numeracy, and the like I said, the textbook is well designed to allow you to do those, to go through all those exercises. One of the most important question I get is that this module might be very similar to accounting, and what you should understand, and that's why what I'm going to cover right now is actually in your learning unit one. It's really to explain to you uh, this course in particular. So you are quite right that if you feel a little bit of similarity, because these are financial modules, but it is quite also important for you to understand that in the accounting is just a branch of finance. Finance, like I was saying, finance in itself is quite broad. You know, if somebody tells you that he's working in finance, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what that person is doing, because one person can be in insurance, another can be in accounting, another can be in stock exchange, can be a broker, another can be yeah, a broker, an investment broker. So they are multiple sides to finance. So so accounting in itself is only a branch of finance. So yeah, so then I will just touch quickly. So I will jump in quickly. I think that I've covered all the housekeeping, and let me now jump quickly to the content. The reason why I'm doing this is because you have to remember that, you know, our registration was a little bit late. It doesn't mean we are late per se, but it is quite important for me to also jump quickly into the thick of the matter itself, you know, and start tackling with some of the some of the content, the module content. So for those of you who've started reading, and I'm pretty happy because I've interacted with some of you during the week, and you know, some of you have already started doing the reading, and some of you are quite pleased that it's quite an easy read, and I'm very happy for that. Please remember, it will be impossible for you to pass this module if you are not doing the reading. You are a tertiary level student. You are not a secondary level student. You cannot just rely on the handout from your instructor. What is very important for you is to understand that as a tertiary student, you should be able to do the reading. And if you are not doing the reading, it's not a very smart move for you. So also you have to remember that um, if you are actually covering, you are doing the reading, it's much way easier to engage with me. So just to say, I've lectured also other modules, and so my pass rate is very, very high, and it's I wouldn't, it's not a bragging right or anything, but I would say that it's around the 99% of my student pass. I have to say 99% because even though the student who is the weakest, who's doing the reading, but who is very much struggling. Please understand that by weakest, it's not really actually uh, um, a derogatory uh, term, but it's just to say if you are quite busy and you don't have much time, or you are struggling quite a lot, even for those kind of students, they will still pass my module, but unfortunately perhaps on the second attempt. Not on this. What I mean by second attempt is they many students who are really struggling, and that will be the very tiny minority. The very tiny minority will be able to pass by doing an extra exam, what we call a supplementary exam. So I'm not saying that you should look forward for a supplementary exam. You should really try to pass the module. From the first exam, you should be able to pass the module. But I'm saying even for those who are really, really struggling with the module, they will be able to do good to still pass the module. So yeah, that said, there is three particular things that I would like to highlight when it comes to the chapter one that you need to bear in mind. The first thing is that, like I was saying, you will deal much with long-term investment. And when we're talking about the long-term investment, it's that side of finance. Financial management in itself is just about obtaining finance for a business at the lowest cost. So once that funding, that finance funding, once that finance for a business is obtained, then that money need to be invested in a particular asset to earn a return that is greater than the cost of of acquiring that particular capital. We call it the cost of capital. So let me see if I can use my whiteboard. So if you're looking, so like I said, the first part will be the financing part. And by financing part, we are looking at obtaining the capital for our business. Whatever business you will endeavor in the future and in life, uh, you should be able to obtain finance. The money part is quite important. So that finance, you need to obtain it at the lowest cost, because if you are obtaining it at a higher cost, it's quite difficult to be successful in any business venture. So that's the first part, the financing part. And when we're looking at this financing part, we are looking at something that we call the capital structure. And so when we're looking at the capital structure, what we're looking at, it's basically, you know already, it's quite a known for all of you who've done accounting. You've seen that asset equal liability plus equity. And it is important to see that the liability is the debt. So when we're looking at the capital structure in itself, is how much of debt we're going to take versus how much of equity are we, or shares are we going to give away in order for us to do this business. So I hope that that makes it clear. So you have this part of finance that deals with these questions. Where will we get the long-term financing to pay for these investments? We need to, are we going to borrow the money? Are we going to get into debt? Or are we going to bring more owners? So people who will own the business, they will own the business together with us. Are we going to give them a slice of the pie, a share of this business in return in order for us? So they're giving us money, they're investing into our business, and we're giving them a portion, a shareholding. Or are we going to go to the bank and take debt? And especially when we're talking about debt, when we're looking at the capital structure, the kind of debt that we are talking about is long-term debt that will take more than a year to repay, depending on which sector you are. So generally, it's long-term is more than a year. So just an eraser here. So that's the first section of finance that you should be aware of is the financing part, the capital structure part. But then there is the second also part of as you can see, I'm a bit struggling to clear this. And the second part of finance will deal with the long-term investment. Okay, once we have obtained that money, what are we going to do with that money? So that's quite an important question, and that speaks about the budgeting. How are we going to budget? Budgeting, as you know, not only talks about the future planning of what we're planning for. So the future planning, the budgeting side. Um, I'm not too sure that I'm getting good at erasing, although I might just decide to use another tool because it seems like this is not really efficient. But yeah, as you can see there, I'm just going to highlight for you, and I'm talking about investment, the investing side of the business. Once we have obtained the money, what are we going to do with that money? And so chapter 1 covers much of this, and that's the logic. As you're reading, understand that this is the logic behind chapter 1, to explain to you what is really uh, your role. And you, in any business, you cannot function without the financial, the side of it, or what we call the financial function. And the financial function is concerned with the flow of fund, in a particular business. It is concerned with the acquisition of that fund, and that we have already mentioned, that which is known as financing. We want to acquire, we want to acquire funds in order to finance our business, because whatever plan, whatever entrepreneurship planning we have, we need to have the resources. And one of the most important resource that we need is the 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 money side of it. And then, but we need to apply now that fund that we have acquired, we need to apply it in order to acquire now assets. And this is what we call the investment side of it, is that we need to invest into assets. We need to invest into assets that are going to give us a return. And so this is quite important for all of you to understand. And that's the investment side of it. So you can see our finance is broad. It's not only uh, 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 like I had the pleasure to speak to one of you who thought that it's more about accounting. Accounting will be the administration and the reporting on financial matter. So the daily running of the business will require a particular administration. Who was paid, how much they were paid, and the reporting of the cash flow, what comes in, what incomes we've made, what expenses has been made by the business. That is really much the domain of accounting. And as the word itself says, we are accounting for the transactions that took place in the business. So the accounting is the administration of and the reporting on financial matters.